Hey YouTube family, it's me, I'm back again. Got a new topic that I've been wanting to discuss. Um, it's really something that touches my heart very closely. But before I get into that topic, I'm back out here in the park out here near where I live. It's a very beautiful place. I'm gonna pan around and let you guys see some more of the beauty, because this is from a different side of the park. It's a different angle, and it really just gives you the picture of something really beautiful. But okay, that'll be a little later on. But right now, let's just get into the topic of gardens and gardens in the Bible. We have two very significant gardens. We have the Garden of Eden, where history was made, and we have the Garden of Gethsemane, where history was made. And I like to, based on my research, compare the two gardens. What exactly occurred in each garden, and how these garden experiences play such a significant role in our everyday lives and in our spiritual lives. It is amazing what happened in these two gardens that will affect all of mankind for eternity. When we look at the Garden of Eden, and God just made it a paradise on earth. Man was at his perfection. He was at his height of who he could possibly be as a human being in relationship with God. And as the Bible puts it, the serpent stepped in, controlled, possessed by Satan, and he took the opportunity to deceive. And he deceived Eve into thinking that if she disobeyed God and ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that she could be as God is. And some people do point out in the Bible that God himself stated that that they're as us, as we are now. But it's what he was saying is that they're able to distinguish good from evil. Not that they're as we are, period. They're as we are with the ability to distinguish or differentiate good from evil. That they couldn't possibly be as God is after disobeying God, because disobeying God is sin. Sin equates us with evil. And therefore, God is not evil. God has never experienced evil. God has never experienced sin. He's a holy God. Come on, make some sense out of that. Okay, but they experienced evil, and they did learn to differentiate between good and evil. But they never became as God is. Okay, so that's something that is a mistake. It's a poor interpretation. I wouldn't even call it a misinterpretation, because it's just not getting your facts straight. Okay, so if we look at some of the things that took place, there's certain things that you can get the message on from just reading the Bible and reading about this particular experience. Satan approached Eve and he questioned her. Did God say not to eat from any of the trees of the garden? So that's one of two things. He was either trying to pretend to be lost, appealing to that nurturing nature that females have, or he was lost. He had no way of understanding the communication between God and man at that particular time, because maybe it was not an audible communication, and therefore he was left out in the cold. So he had to guess, and in guessing he chose something, and he knew that her nurturing nature would steer him right on it. And so the minute that she told him what exactly it was that God said, no, not every tree, this particular tree, then he knew which one to strategize on, to start to make his devious plan. Okay, so he convinced Eve by deception that she should. And Eve then went on to convince Adam that he should eat from this tree and disobey God. Neither of them thought to consult God. And whatever we do, in everything that we do, we must pray first. We must pray for the will of God in what we do. And that's what was lacking in this particular garden experience. Nobody consulted God before they made this decision. And talking to God is an act of prayer. Okay? Now when we move on to the Garden of Gethsemane, because a lot was lost because of that act of sin. Eventually, of course, you know the story. Adam and Eve were asked to leave. And they were not given the right to the tree of life. Because for many different reasons. I mean, there's no specifics, but we can make certain conclusions. Could it have been a plan of Satan to have them become evil and then eat from the tree of life and let evil live on forever in man? But for whatever reason, they were denied access to the garden and denied access to the tree of life and asked to leave the garden, and certain other punishments followed. Which, if you read the book of Genesis, the early books of Genesis, you'll get the gist of the story.